Charmander, since you've been hibernating all this time, there's something you should know. No. Also no. Also no. But those Gen 4 remakes we've been waiting so long for, they've been confirmed and they're coming out pretty soon. Well, that's the thing. There's something else that I find even more exciting. Welcome everyone, this is On Just Restart, and this time I want to talk about why I am just far more excited for Pokemon Legends Arceus as opposed to Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Now, if you are unaware, I am a longtime Pokemon fan. I pretty much always buy the mainline Pokemon games. There's been a couple exceptions down the years, but pretty much I always get them. But this time around, I'm thinking that I might ignore Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. It just doesn't seem all that worth it to me. But Legends Arceus, on the other hand, does. It seems like something new, refreshing, exciting, and I really want to get into that, and I think that is more suggestive of the future of Pokemon as opposed to Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. So that's what I want to talk about today. Now before we jump into things, let me very quickly talk about my social media. You may see a few different things here on screen. You can check that all out. It is linked in the description below. And of course, if you like what you're seeing here, you can subscribe. So to be clear, I'm not trying to make this into a video where I say Pokemon is bad, don't play Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, blah 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 blah. That's not what I'm trying to say. If you're excited for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, by all means go for it. I'm not saying there aren't some nice things about the game. Visually, I do think that it is a little aesthetically pleasing. I do like that they are adding some new elements to the game, but overall, it's just not enough new for me. And perhaps that's the point because it is a remake, so it's meant more to revisit Gen 4, but also, whenever I sort of dreamed about or got hyped about the prospect of a Gen 4 remake, I didn't envision it in this way. It's just not as exciting to me when I compare it to Pokemon Legends Arceus. Pokemon Legends Arceus is still set in Sinnoh, just in the past, and there's new Pokemon in there, it's an open environment, they're trying new things, and that, to me, is far more exciting. There's a lot more to that, there's a lot more to explore and discover, and that discovery is what has me excited for Pokemon Legends Arceus, but with Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, I don't really feel like there's gonna be much to discover there. And again, I'm sure some of you will simply say it's not meant to be a game of discovery, it's meant to be a game of rekindling that sort of love you had once upon a time, that nostalgia. And maybe there is that. Maybe if I go back to Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, I will enjoy it. Because Gen 4 is one of my favorite generations personally, even though it may not have aged as well compared to other generations based off the pace of battle. But still, there are some really nice things about that, so maybe I still will give it a try. Looking at the Pokemon contest, I like how they've been redone with 3D visuals. They look really awesome and really fun. The extra new environments you get to explore in the underground with the roaming Pokemon also seems like a nice little addition there. But in terms of the core gameplay, it seems to be basically the same, but with that chibi graphical style. And I'm not going to say that just purely for the graphical style, I'm not interested in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, but when I first saw it, it was a bit of a turnoff. Now, since that initial reveal, I feel like they have spruced up the visuals a little bit. It does seem to be a bit more appealing. But overall, I just don't feel like Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is offering enough for me to feel really excited, at least when I compare it to Legends Arceus. Legends Arceus is a Pokemon game with a large 3D environment to explore with a whole bunch of new elements, and they're trying a lot of different things. They're changing around the combat style. They are giving us a narrative we haven't seen before, and I think Legends Arceus is the future of Pokemon. Now, I'm not trying to say I don't like my turn-based combat RPG style. I like to play competitively, so I think that is an important staple of the series that should maintain, but perhaps it can also see evolutions. No pun intended there. And I would like to see gym battles come back. I do like gym battles, but of course there are ways to make that feel fresh again. So there are things like that that I would like to see return. I don't want to see the end of the mainline games, but certainly there is a lot of room for improvement and things they can change and expand on. So when you take a look at Legends Arceus, they are exploring with a lot more gameplay possibilities here. They are making efforts to modernize the series when you compare it to other common RPG or third-person adventure games, and I think Legends Arceus is that bridge title. I think when we get Generation 9, a lot of the elements we're seeing in Legends Arceus, a lot of the elements we've seen in the DLC for Sword and Shield, and even the wild area with the initial Sword and Shield game, all of that will be expanded upon. I think they are exploring with open exploration and a third-person camera, and having more advanced modern elements in their games. And this is how Game Freak does it. Game by game, we see them try out different things and slowly improve upon it. And what's exciting about this is that I think they're actually lengthening their generation a little bit. We don't know that for sure yet, but the last few generations, it's been 3-year gaps. But with Legends Arceus coming out this January, the end of January, should we really be expecting a whole other new generation 10 months later in November? That's what the pattern would suggest, but then Legends Arceus is throwing off that pattern because that is the game that Game Freak is developing. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, the game that I'm sort of ranking on in this video, is not being developed by Game Freak. It's being outsourced. It's the first remake that hasn't been made in-house. And I'm not trying to argue that it shows, but maybe I should argue that because, again, there doesn't seem to be that much new being added. They haven't touted any new Pokemon or new forms in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Usually with the remakes, at least the last few, they've had some new additions, and those new additions would change around the combat and the competitive scene, and there's really none of that in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. In fact, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is not where the competitive circuit will be held. That still will be on Pokemon Sword and Shield. So as someone who gets into the competitive metagame for Pokemon, or the different metagames for Pokemon, to hear that they're not going to be having the official circuit on Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, there's even less reason for me to get it. Usually that's like the biggest reason why I have to get a Pokemon game immediately, because I want to play through the adventure, enjoy it, but then jump into all the new different mechanics and options for different Pokemon teams so I can get into the competitive battles, and that's not an element in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. So that alone takes away a lot of my motivation for wanting to get this game. I don't need it. Now, maybe there will be some things that I can get in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl that I could then bring over to Sword and Shield that will be valuable, so maybe that alone will compel me to eventually get Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, but I could just make trades. I may not actually need to get the game to get the teams I want in Sword and Shield. But continuing on this sort of train of thought with competitive battling, I also feel like the competitive battling scene is becoming a little bit stale. I haven't had nearly as much of a desire nowadays to get involved with tournaments and such, and perhaps part of that is because, well, COVID, we can't really go to local tournaments. But then even when I think back to when I did used to do that, the way they were ran, it still didn't really feel all too inviting. I feel like there's a lot more that could have been done. When you consider just how popular Pokemon is, maybe they could do more with it. Maybe the competitive scene could be a bigger deal. Maybe more people could know about it. Maybe it could be treated as a legitimate esport. I think Pokemon has that potential, even though it's usually only available on Nintendo systems, although they have some of their mobile entries. But the mainline series is on just Nintendo systems, so that does limit a little bit. But still, perhaps Pokemon could be a bigger deal. Perhaps they could handle the competitive scene in a different way. Maybe it could be more of a spectacle. Yes, they stream their events, but as someone who makes YouTube videos and occasionally streams, I feel like what they do is underwhelming. I think there could be so much more. And Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, going back to the game I'm ranking on for this video, it doesn't really add that much to the series. A couple new things to make the Gen 4 remake a little bit of a fresher experience, more modernized, but it's not really doing anything too new. But then when we go back to Legends Arceus, there are a lot of new things here. They are trying different things with the combat system. Now, I think it's pretty fair to say that the combat system in some ways will be stripped down from the mainline Pokemon games or the other mainline Pokemon games, but they're trying something out here, and when we get our hands on it, get to see just how much of the combat system is in place, but with these new mechanics from Legends Arceus, we'll get to experiment with it a little bit with that, and maybe some of that will carry over into the next generation, and that could potentially evolve the series, push it to another level, and there could be more variety there. And maybe also they will continue to push into this more open style of exploration for the Pokemon games, but then also, because there's a chance that they may be expanding the length of their generations here, they'll have more time to focus on that, and because they're also outsourcing their remakes, which gives them more time to focus on the mainline games, and because they're also doing DLC, maybe their actual final product when they come out with Generation 9, it's gonna be a big deal. It's gonna have more polish to it, more breadth, more ambition, it's going to appeal to an even larger audience, and hopefully they also rethink the competitive scene a little bit and they can make that more of a spectacle, something that brings in an even larger viewership, and perhaps Pokemon could reach even greater heights. So Legends Arceus is something new, something experimental that I think could lead to even bigger, greater things for the Pokemon series. And Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is just more of the same. And maybe that's fine for some of you, but for me, it might not be enough. Which is why Legends Arceus is just way more exciting to me. But what do you guys think? What do you guys make of the differences between Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl? Which ones are you getting? Are you getting both? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Anyways, everyone, this is On Just Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.